In the rap world, there are a few things that are meant to stand out above all the rest. The music that one makes and the feuds that one gets involved in that can help elevate a career. Sure, in certain walks of life, a celebrity feud isn't the best of things, but in the rap game, it can be huge, as you'll have constant conflict and attention in the media. Plus, you can put out diss tracks to slam your rival. Rick Ross is someone who knows all about this, and had a lot to say about this topic and 50 Cent. We'll break it down for you, but before we do that, go ahead and do us a favor by leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. Do you want to win an iPhone 13 Pro Max? Maybe a MacBook Pro? How about $500 cash? You decide. All you have to do is comment the secret hidden message somewhere in this video. That's it. Oh, and leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so we can keep affording these giveaways. Winners will be announced on the last day of each month. Thanks for watching and good luck. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Rick Ross on 50 Cent. Rick Ross and 50 Cent haven't had the friendliest of track records regarding their friendship, stemming as far back as 2008 when the Wingstop boss claimed the power honcho looked at him wrong while the two attended the 2008 BET Awards. The two have exchanged slick comments over the years, but Ross now claims the two have made amends. However, during a recent appearance on the Full Send podcast with co-hosts Kyle Forgiard and Bob Menery, the Miami native said that he and the Get Rich or Die Tryin' MC have ended their feud, telling the host, 50 Cent don't call me out no more. After seemingly receiving some pushback from Menery, who claimed 50 was still calling out the rapper, Ross said, Rose called him out, okay, and I made sure he understand how Rose really got down, and after that it was clear, before adding, Rose's shoes ain't never got stepped on, man. The Gold Roses rapper later put his Jordan sneakers on the table before implying that with 15 years in the game, he hasn't had an issue with anyone. Ross, whose real name is William Leonard Roberts II, said he's since turned over a new leaf and no longer engages in feuds with fellow industry peers. You know, I only rap beef with people with more money than me, and I guess that's why I never rap beef, he said later on in the interview. However, one might assume the MC was still taking jabs at 50 Cent, considering their feud last year. Ross said during a GQ interview that the New York rapper only made $250,000 from his Star Series BMF based on the real-life drug trafficking organization called Black Mafia Family. I could put my issues with 50 to the side. I know he may have made $250,000 off the whole season. I'm happy he made that quarter, he told the outlet. When the journalist interviewing him chuckled, Ross stated, you know, that's what he made. Why are you laughing like that? And make sure you put all these details in. I'll never let you interview me again if you take that out. Keep it. But look, I know he made $250K off the whole season, and that's good. Tell him I said congratulations. One could argue that he doesn't really mean that. And to be fair, $250,000 is a lot of money for a season of TV. And don't forget that 50 Cent had his series Power, where he definitely made more than that. As for 50 Cent though, he's likely fine with not having to deal with Rick Ross anymore, because another old rival has come back into his life. 50 Cent versus The Game. Recently, 50 Cent responded to a now viral clip in which the Compton rapper was seemingly snubbed by Jimmy Levine. The video, which was captured at a Los Angeles Lakers game, shows the Interscope co-founder walk past The Game without even acknowledging him. LOL, the man didn't even look at him, 50 wrote on Instagram. Get this guy out of here. 50 wrote the records, LMFAO. The Game, who was once signed to 50's G-Unit imprint, didn't hesitate to fire back. He insisted he didn't notice Levine, and then pushed back in 50 Cent's claims that he had written his music. I ain't even seen Mr. Burns, he wrote, referencing Levine. If you wrote my records, write you one today and put it out. Your rap career died with them lollipop strapped tank tops. You a actor, and that's why you ran to TV. Leave this rap to who can spell correctly and actually got bars, goofy. But the Born to Rap MC didn't stop there. Shortly after responding to 50 Cent, The Game returned to Instagram to throw more jabs at 50, bringing up the rapper's weight, his alleged fear of doing a versus, and his girlfriend Cuban Link. Hit Swiss Beats and Timbaland ASAP and stop running from this versus, Game continued. Oh, and tell your girl to stay out of my DMs. If she don't want her man overweight, fat as hanging upside down like a rotisserie chicken at the Super Bowl, come to the @Numinati. The Game also shared a screenshot he reportedly received from Cuban, who had offered to be in one of his videos. Royce the 5'9" weighed in on the Game's perceived snub by posting a clip from a Levine interview where he questioned why more white and black men don't work together. The music biz in 2 slides, he wrote in the caption. Regardless of that, this has all the markings of a feud getting reignited, and not unlike many rap feuds, it all has to do with what a person did or didn't do, as well as whether respect was given to someone. History. These two indeed have a lot of history, and as a result of that, their feud is many years in the making, especially if it continues now. Game was placed in G-Unit by Dr. Dre as a way to boost his presence ahead of the release release of his debut album, The Documentary, which had 3 singles featuring 50 Cent on it. The release date of 50 Cent's second album, The Massacre, was pushed back in order to accommodate the game's debut album. The move caused a rift between 50 Cent and Dre and Jimmy Levine of Interscope Records, and tensions between 50 and the game began. Tensions had obviously risen by the time the game started shooting the video for his third single, Hate It or Love It, featuring 50 Cent. Word is that 50 refused to sit in the front seat of a car next to the game, instead taking a backseat. Later in 2005, 50 Cent dismissed the game from G-Unit Live during a radio interview on US station Hot 97, saying he's gone. 50 said that the game should stop saying G-Unit. He thinks he's doing me a favor when he says that. After hearing 50's comments, the game returned to the radio station, where he was also a guest earlier that day, and attempted to enter the building. In the scuffle, one of the men accompanying the game was shot in the leg by a security guard. 50 and the rest of G-Unit left out the back door. Both sides made a formal announcement in March 2005 that noted that they would be laying their beef to rest. 50 and I are proving that real situations and real problems can be solved with real talk, the game said in the statement. We now know that this friendship was not going to last. The peace treaty didn't last that long at all. In fact, it wasn't long until G-Unit criticized the game's street cred and sent him packing once more, announcing he will not be featured on any of their albums. That didn't go over so well. It keeps going and going. After being dismissed from G-Unit once again, the game boycotted the group in what became known as GU-Not. He put out a diss track called 300 Bars and Runnin', and 50 Cent responded by showing Game as a Mr. Potato Head doll in the video of his piggy bank. The songs kicked off diss track after diss track. In September 2006, Game must have been feeling bad about his attacks on 50 Cent, as when he paid Angie Martinez a visit, he said on air that he wanted to talk and just see where our heads are and see if maybe we can come into an even playing field, respectfully to each other, appealing to 50 to work together to figure it out as grown-ups. It was all quiet on 50's end. Jimmy always says, "Man, I told you guys not to break up the Beatles," Game said in an interview with MTV. He says he told John Lennon the same thing a long time ago, but I was young, man, I was dumb. I did a lot of dumb things. Now, 4 albums in, I can honestly say from Banks to Bucks to Dre to Yayo to whoever, if it would have kept going, endless paper, millions of albums sold, because we were great together. Me and 50's chemistry was like how Method Man was to Redman when they get in. A few days later, in January 2009, Tony Yayo spoke on behalf of G-Unit when he said that they would not be accepting an apology from the game. One day the game is sorry, and the next day it's G-Unit. A week later, it was reported that the game dissed G-Unit again at his concert in Sydney, Australia. In November that year, 50 included the track So Disrespectful on his Before I Self-Destruct album. He was less than subtle on who it was about, with lyrics including, "Come on game, you will never be my equal. I'm what you're never gonna be. I'm the tax bracket you're never gonna see." 50 Cent and the game have put so much focus on their hate for each other over the years that, including radio freestyles and songs that appeared on albums and mixtapes, there are over 100 diss records aimed at each other. That's impressive. Scary, but impressive. Look, we can't say that this is gonna go on this round as much as the previous ones did, but it does make you wonder about these older rappers still getting into feuds, phasing out. The thing about music is that eventually you need to move on, pass the torch, or you'll burn out. No star of any genre is able to stay on top forever. That's just not how it works. But for rappers, many times they'll try and elongate careers by doing rap beefs to stay relevant. But that only works if the beef is good and meaningful. If it's just pointless, then it doesn't do anything. Eminem is a great example of this. When he released Kamikaze a few years back, he had a feud with Machine Gun Kelly, and as a result of it, it helped elevate Eminem even further. But after that, he had minor feuds with Nick Cannon and Snoop Dogg, the latter of whom he reconciled with and did the Super Bowl halftime show with recently, and they were not so great. Rick Ross seems to have the right idea in mind by not going after people and not getting into feuds himself. These elder statesmen have the ability to help the next generation and still be relevant via their time in the booth. Or they can be like 50 Cent, for better or for worse, by expanding their reach and going into business in certain ways. But if they just rely on feuds and don't put out meaningful things, then what's the point of it all? Exactly. And there you have it, a look at Rick Ross, 50 Cent, The Game, and others who are steeped in the world of rap, as well as rap feuds. Does hearing about these three give you more insight into all that really goes on in the rap world? What do you think is going to happen next between some of these parties? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.